On this week's episode, we talk about Gypsy Rose's newfound fame. Will it last? Tunnels in Brooklyn. Yes, we owe that guy a huge apology. And of course, we take your dating and relationship questions. Welcome to the Ask a Matchmaker podcast. I'm your host, Matchmaker Maria, and this week's guest is a straight, white male and a comedian. It is Gianmarco Soresi. Welcome to the Ask a Matchmaker pod.
Hello. I can't wait to share my thoughts. Everyone's dying to hear. Straight white male thoughts. That's a lot of podcasts.
That is a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
But you know what though? I got drunk on all of your content.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so for anyone listening and for anyone watching, go to the show notes, click on Gianmarco's Instagram and TikTok links, follow him, and get drunk, just like I did, on all of his content, because it's really, really funny. You do a lot of stand-up work, you do crowd work.
Yes, I do.
But you also, I feel like you have your finger on, the temperature of your audience in the sense of what's happening right now.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of audience I've cultivated. I have a lot of people with fucked up families.
Sure.
And so I really, I think more and more people are willing to share their stories, and I can riff off that and compare notes. And
you also have a Netflix special. Are we calling it a set?
You could call it whatever you want.
I'm gonna call it Netflix special.
Sure.
Let's.
I got a 9-minute special that's part of other people's specials in a thing called Verified Stand-Up.
It counts.
Thank you.
Blue check mark. It counts. And you're also on tour right now.
I am.
In the U.S. and Canada and Europe?
Canada. I might add some more Europe dates soon. It is chaos.
Where in Europe, are you?
Well, I just did London, Amsterdam, Milan, Berlin, Paris.
And the people that come to you at the European shows, are they Americans that are expats, or do you have
It was my first time, and there were a lot less expats than I thought there were going to be. I thought it would be all expats.
Right.
But there were, America, we shove our culture down everyone's throat, so it allows comedians to tour.
I love
if they
that.
came here and they talked about Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy, no one would know what the hell she's talking about.
With the salutes that happened yesterday?
Oh, that was Italy? Yes,
Yeah.
We have seen that. Sure. I thought they were all just, trying to applaud me and thought it was with one hand. I did see that. Italy's, it's all crazy. But it was fun. It was fun to go to Germany and tell a lot of my German jokes about Germany.
Oh yeah, I saw those
in
too.
Berlin. That was a good time.
That's a lot of fun because you're Jewish.
Because I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
So there's a little,
Little humor.
Little humor to be had.
No big deal. And you also have a podcast called The Downside.
Uh-huh.
And on that podcast, you complain a lot.
I do. I wanted something where guests didn't come on and get all promo-y and this was The Rock was cool working with The Rock. I wanted them to be like, oh, The Rock sucks. Not necessarily The Rock. I have nothing against The Rock. We got in a fight on Twitter once.
Really?
We did.
About what?
He posted something like he showers 3 times a day, and I made some kind of quip about how that's a little strange. And he replied, and suddenly everyone was calling me stinky, and they were defending him for his 3-shower-a-day regimen. And then I was nervous, so I told The Rock, we went to the same college, and in fact, he saw me in a production of Hello, Dolly my junior year, so I tried to use that to gain his forgiveness before his fans messaged me anymore. And he said, oh, we're friends now. So that's the whole story.
The only question I have is how many showers does Arnold Schwarzenegger take? Because that's a good comparison. Maybe if you have a similar lifestyle, actor, bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Is that part of lifestyle is taking showers a lot?
It's 3 a day.
3 days a lot though.
It's too many.
And does he live in California? Because I think there's a water crisis.
Yeah. Oh, it's because of him. It is because of The Rock. That's why almonds cost so much. It's because of The Rock taking up all the water. Him and Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's an intense guy. If you're that intense, people are going to make some jokes.
Do you remember when The Rock was The Rock?
Oh, yeah. I actually went to a wrestling match at Madison Square Garden at the end of this last year. I haven't been since I was a kid, but I went to one now. Yeah.
So I went to one in 2001
Ooh, good time.
Newark. Back when, at the height.
Yeah.
And I don't watch wrestling. I don't know anything. But I was
Sure.
like, I want to go see The Rock. And I remember being 16 years old and dragging my sister and my childhood best friend. I was like, we're going to go watch The Rock. I mean, that's what we were there for. And he came out a little.
Sure.
great.
I used to try to do it. I can't. Was it fun? Did you have a good time?
It was a great time.
Was it like, ooh, they're hot?
No.
Like, was it like no?
I don't.
That's too big for you?
I don't think. See, this is where I find like what you just asked, right?
Yeah.
I think this is what straight men think straight women might like.
Sure. But to be fair, in the wrestling thing, all the like women on the match, they're like, hello, Rock. So we're being tricked.
Sure.
En masse.
That is true.
Some women, though, I agree, not all. My girlfriend says all the time.
Minority.
Sure.
I think if
I say
if I were to take your photo
Uh-huh.
and The Rock's photo and ask a bunch of women, okay, who do you want to go on a date with? I think you actually might have a higher percentage.
I'm glad you think that, but I don't know. The Rock's going to take you to a much better meal, and he's going to cover the whole thing. We're splitting. If you added that detail underneath our photos, I think they're going to go with The Rock. He's too big. But
he's too famous.
No, he's too. He
too
used to be a
big?
little bit like, now he's gigantic.
He feels very big to me. I don't know. My type has always been more cerebral
Uh-huh.
than
You prefer the brain over the
yeah.
rock.
Like I'm like this is okay. This looks like a lot of work. Okay, so I'll give you an example. One time, oh my gosh. Okay, so one time I had a gentleman coming in who was interviewing to become a client.
Uh-huh.
And this man is beautiful. In fact, he's on the cover of a lot of those romance novels that like women purchase.
Sure.
Like that's his full-time job
Yeah,
is
yeah,
being
yeah.
that guy. And I remember even the secretary when he was coming into the office, she was called me. She goes, "The most beautiful man has just come in." But the phones, were like this. They weren't like this. And so anyway, so he comes in, we're interviewing, and then I asked him about like his dietary restrictions, and he started telling me like what it takes to look the way he does, and I was like, I don't know how many women are interested in eating lettuce and chicken with like no seasoning. And I don't
Sure.
know how many, this is the time before Ozempic. So, it's just, there's just a lot of dietary restrictions and like the tanning and all that stuff. And he was very high maintenance is what I'm trying to say.
Listen, this is great news to me.
So,
This is fantastic.
yeah.
The women's standards for looks are even lower than I thought. That's fantastic news.
Okay. So, let's talk about current events right now. Did you
Please.
hear about the tunnels?
I did hear about the tunnels.
Do you want to tell the audience what the tunnels are?
Yeah, I tried because my girlfriend grew up Chabad.
Oh.
So she like
I did not know this. So
she
this
was
is-
born in one of the tunnels.
Okay.
That's a joke.
What?
No, that's a joke. She grew up in New Orleans, but she's been showing me a lot of TikToks
Do they have
about
tunnels
it.
in New Orleans? Like, it's like underground in the water.
They needed some, but I as far as I know, some kind of they found these tunnels where there were a bunch of Chabad traveling from one building to another building, and
it was like under a synagogue.
and they wanted to expand, but it wasn't fully approved yet, so they were like, we'll just dig the tunnels.
But did you hear about the guy who lived above the
Oh,
tunnels?
amazing! So there's a guy who years ago tweeted like, "I'm
no,
on the
it
ground."
was a month ago.
It was a month ago.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm on the ground level of my apartment. I swear to God, there are Jews underneath my building. And it's hard in today's society or in any part to
After
say there's
October
Jews
7th,
living.
You can't say that anyway.
Before October 7th, you can't say there's Jews living under the building.
It's a microaggression.
And
for sure.
and I'm sure people dragged him and said he was being an anti-Semite. and then when
he
this
said,
happened,
there's another tweet who goes, I'm on the ground floor. There's no basement. I swear to you, I'm hearing Yiddish.
and he was right.
And then he reshares like the image of the tunnels.
He said,
and, like,
"You all owe me an apology."
Yeah. He's
And we
like, I was
do.
right.
We do.
We do owe that guy, Joe. So we're sorry. And then other news that's happening this week is, do you follow the Gypsy Rose? Do you know who that is?
I do because of my girlfriend once again.
Okay.
She loves Gypsy Rose. I've heard like some parts of the story. I feel like I don't have all the details of the horrifying part of it all, but I saw some pictures of her when she was under her mom's care.
Yeah.
And then I know she's with this guy, and she recently said his dick is fire in an interview. Did you see that?
I did not.
She basically said, like, people are hating on my man, but let me tell you, the dick is fire.
She used is fire though.
Oh, she said it's fire.
Way to
yeah.
go on the lingo. Like, I can't believe. Like, well, that's like the one thing I've been so surprised about this past week, watching her flourish on TikTok.
Yeah.
Is her grasp of trends this quick and like Gen Z lingo.
Sure. I mean, I guess I don't know a lot about prison. Did she have access to it? It feels like internet culture, but like she's like a year behind.
Yeah.
I don't hear people say
Next
very
year
often
she'll
the
be
dick
saying,
is
like,
fire
it's
anymore.
giving, you know?
Yeah, it's giving. Exactly. So good. I mean, it does feel like she was able to adapt to modern society faster than my parents have.
Yeah. So if for those who don't know, because maybe you're living under a rock or maybe you don't like Joey King.
Or in a tunnel.
Yeah, or in a tunnel. Gypsy Rose was a person who was emotionally, physically, and medically abused by her mother. And then she...
the detail I hear is that she was told that she couldn't walk by her mom and like kept in a wheelchair and like told like, oh, you have this disease, that disease.
She was taking a lot of medicine to keep her from being able to, like, she had, atrophy essentially, right?
Yeah.
And then there was a murder. We're gonna gloss over that.
There's a murder.
We're just gonna gloss over that.
Maybe she got a guy off the internet.
No, she definitely got a guy. I mean, he's serving
she got a guy
term
off the internet to kill her mom. But like, it's one of those where you're like, okay.
I just heard a comedian. I wish I had his name right now, but I just heard a comedian who was who had a really interesting take on that, where he said something like, there's a big leap between saying I need you to kill my mom and actually doing it.
Sure.
So he said,
no one said yes to me yet.
I really want to get his name because I definitely want to. I don't want to steal anyone's stuff, but
I mean, my girlfriend loves Gypsy Rose Lee. I think, especially she's in New York right now, or she just visited New York.
Yeah.
And
for the first time ever.
My theory is my girlfriend really likes her because she was in a Chabad community, moved to New York, had to adapt to culture. This woman was in prison, is now in New York, adapted to culture. So I think she relates on watching her journey to realize her fullness of a human being.
Yeah. Oh, I know exactly who I said it to.
And this guy, she met him in prison. Apparently, all these guys wrote her. Which is nice. You always hear like Marilyn Manson, like who am I thinking? Charles Manson. Everyone wrote Charles Manson in prison, like marry me, date me, sleep with me, and you're like, Jesus Christ. And it's nice to hear on the other side, a woman in prison.
You
and
can
guys
do this
like
though.
courting.
You can do this. There's like dating websites where you can, or
really?
apps where you can talk to inmates. So his name is Josh Johnson.
Oh, I know Josh Johnson, of course.
Yeah, and he was like, I understand that she told this man to kill, but it sounds like he also was waiting to kill someone. He's like, give me a name. Oh,
sure,
yeah.
Sure.
Because it's like a big leap to be like, I think I want to kill my mom because she's abusing me, to being like, you got it, honey. It's a big leap. So,
But now basically this guy wrote her a letter in prison. They grew up in the same state or like the Midwest or something. And they seem to be happy.
The South, yeah.
We'll see.
They look happy. We'll see. But, she's very new. Oh, I love how skeptical you are. It's great.
We'll see.
It's great. I'm curious to see how, she, for me, watching it, and she's in a relationship with someone, and, she's ride or die for this man she just met.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're married or whatever's happening. Like, she's only just now physically with him.
Sure.
Right? And it's giving Simone Biles... Like, I'm going to defend my man no matter what. Which is good for you. If that's your man, defend him,
Sure.
But...
Listen, my girlfriend's never gone on Instagram and said, my dick is fire. Not once. We've been together way longer than those two have.
Yeah. Maybe it's not fire.
Oh, shit. Maybe.
But the difference that I see is that she's adapting to internet culture for someone who never got to experience it. And there are going to be like there's a lot of roller coaster that she's about to experience. Like, imagine giving the internet right now to like your bubby who's never used it. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's more, the problem is with this Fast of a Rise is she'll tweet an opinion. She'll be like, well, people with a cilantro aversion should all die. And people will be like, whoa, what the fuck? And everyone will turn.
Yeah.
And
she made a TikTok about all these people who are like creating TikTok profiles that are fake.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, who cares? Ignore them. Just keep, we know you're real. We know
Yeah,
this is your
yeah.
verified account. Like, don't.
She should put out a TikTok. She says, I'm looking for someone to kill all the people making fake TikTok accounts of me. Please.
Oh my God, this is gonna have like double explicit, like 2 E's against the episode. I love it. Okay, so on your podcast, tell me a little bit more about what you find yourself not stopping to complain about. Like, what is constantly coming up for you?
Oh God. I think it's more like we live, especially with social media, like this constant world of like, show yourself being really positive and really thankful, and when you're with your friends, when you're with your close friends, you're actually honest about what you're unhappy with.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to create a place where people, especially in entertainment, who constantly have to put up this like smiley face all the time, to feel like you can complain and I'm not gonna go, hey, well, at least you're working in TV, at least your dreams came true. Like, I'm like, go ahead, you're miserable too. Everyone's miserable to a degree. So whether it's relationship, family, just little things, Jews talking under your basement, or just big universe, existential, just a place where people can feel like I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt as a friend.
Yeah.
That they're not bad people because they have bad thoughts once in a while.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like some of the thoughts are inside thoughts, intrusive thoughts?
Oh, I have intrusive. Yeah.
What's your biggest intrusive thought?
I have a lot of like.
And how has Alaska Airways affected you this past week? Because I feel like that's my new intrusive thought.
I fly so much that I've gotten kind of over my fear of flying to a degree. You know, I had a light fear, not a big fear. I've been skydiving.
Oh.
But I was still scared. And I just had that little anxiety. And now I'm on planes 2, 3, 4 times a week. And I'm over it. I had to. But you see that Alaska Airlines. And I'm like, all right, I'll put my seatbelt on now.
I read something that they're going to offer everyone for their trauma $1,400.
Not nearly enough.
Not enough zeros.
Not nearly enough. $1,400?
Yeah.
Not nearly enough. One flight free for the rest of your life. Free flights for an entire year wherever you want to go. $100,000 because they can afford it. Take it out of the CEO's bonus. He's making $50 million. That's infuriating.
How many people are on this flight? Anybody know?
It looked like a pretty standard plane.
160 maybe?
160?
They can afford it.
They can 100%.
What's 11 million a year?
If the fucking door opened on my plane, I would call them every day. I'd be getting so many miles, so many free meals. Free meals for life, for sure.
You have an AI chatbot talking to their AI chatbot.
Yes. Now that you bring that up, I never thought about that. Like, people will start making AI that can deal with their AI, and it'll just be...
Yeah.
It's hell.
Yeah. Oh, I love the life that we're about to start living that we're not even aware of. It's great.
That's the thing about, like, with a lot of AI, where it's like, with the quote-unquote advances that I think are a little bit overhyped, Silicon Valley is known for it, with those advances come, like, spam, the ability to create, like, garbage, that I think it will ruin the internet. It will make searches impossible, videos impossible, and it will only kind of negate itself for the most part.
I mean, somebody asked me yesterday, how do you feel like online dating has changed dating? And I was like, that's like asking me, how do I feel like have smartphones change your behavior? Like, it doesn't matter how I feel. It's here. It's never leaving. And you just have to learn to exist with it or participate without it.
Sure.
Right? It's funny because somebody asked me recently how I feel about now there's going to be AI matchmakers.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, they can exist. I've been competing against online dating sites since I started. I started my business like in 2009. You know, before dating apps. Like, I've been through the wave, right? But the reason why people pay me is not like, I don't care about an AI matchmaker because they're paying me for access to me, to a human. Otherwise, they could just go online date.
Of course. Of course.
Like, why? How is this the same?
I think a lot of these jobs that everyone's scared about leaving will be okay. Because any automated thing that we've tried, we're still trying self-checkout machines. And I still go, can I please have a cashier?
Oh my God.
I mean, like, that could not be simpler. And, like, it still is, when they do it, they have to have a cashier help me with the... and I'm like, what are we doing?
Right.
So I think there'll be a little bit of chaos, and then people will be like, I kind of like this better. We are people, no matter what.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg created the billions into the metaverse, and
that
we didn't
launched
want
yet?
it. What?
Has that launched yet?
Oh yeah, it's been launched
it has?
forever. And of course it doesn't make sense. He was like, "Hey guys, you know how you hate hanging out in person?" And it was like, "No, we like that."
What is that thing that existed? I don't know how old you are, but I think we're the same age. What was it called? Second Life?
Yeah, Second Life, I think.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, something like that.
Can you explain to me how the metaverse is not that?
Again, the metaverse is just like an overall title, I think, ultimately for like being able to experience things three-dimensionally.
Are we going through another work from home lockdown pandemic? Otherwise, I don't understand it.
That's what they're betting some people will like. And some people are like, some people want it, sure, but most people don't.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's all.
I still see my therapist over Zoom. I mean, we never went back to in-person since COVID.
Did you have that therapist before
I did.
COVID? Oh,
I
wow.
did. And now it feels impossible, the idea of like commuting to the Upper West Side for my therapy once a week. But something was lost. Doing this in person, if we did this over Zoom, it would not be as fun. It would not be as enjoyable. It would not be as smooth.
No, I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, and you record in studio too, so
In
you
studio.
get it.
And we did Zoom once in a while, and I said no more. I don't care if it's the biggest. And The Rock, I would do it for The Rock. But other than that, like, because he's busy showering, he can't make the commute.
I did recorded my podcast for 3 years on Zoom, and then I did a Zoom with Alex, and I was like, oh, we're doing it in person. And now some people are like, oh, can we do this is Zoom? And I'm like, no, you don't have to record an episode right now. Next time you're in New York, we'll do it.
100%.
It's okay. Like, I'm good. Because I would also get all these, for those listening who like to give me negative reviews, they would give me negative reviews for like, you're always interrupting, 1 star. And I'm like, you can't see it. Like, you can't see that we're having a conversation.
And may I add, and this is a little bit of a Jewish thing, what's the term for, there's some term that my girlfriend's talking about overlapping each other.
Yes.
And I understand for other cultures where overlapping, and when I say other cultures, I mean even like the Midwest. I mean like where overlapping is just not as much a thing, and it comes off as rude.
Right.
But for some people, that truly is how it's spoken. And on Zoom, that kind of thing is impossible.
Have you ever watched the news in Israel, Italy, Greece, Turkey, like that area?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'll send you a clip of me on the news
in
Greece, and it's just everyone talking over me and me talking at the same time.
Yeah.
And like I was like noticing these 1-star reviews, and I'm like, well, I don't see, it's not a Greek username, so they don't get it. And I'm not saying I don't interrupt. I do interrupt. I interrupt when I'm really passionate about what they're about to say, and I'm like, hold on, let me make sure I get this straight. But that's it. Like, it's not. I'm not trying to be rude.
For sure. And it was over like, was it satellite or in person?
Zoom.
See, it's all tough. I wish
Zoom
news
recording.
stuff would get news. I think we're all tired of the satellite, and then there's the long pause, and then they answer it. Like, just get them in person or wait.
Yeah,
Just wait.
just wait.
It's not a good conversation.
Yeah.
It's not a dialogue. It's 2 monologues, and when they interrupt, then it's awful.
I love that. Well, now that we said that, we have call-in listeners for this episode.
Let's do it.
And I love it because it's live, so we can ask them questions back if we need more clarification. So let's go to our first question. How do you feel about giving dating and relationship advice?
I'm experienced.
I've seen you riff.
Am I good at it? I don't know, but my parents are divorced multiple times. I've seen a lot of wrong, so I can recognize wrong.
I think you're going to do great.
Okay,
I'm
good.
really excited. Let's get our first question. Welcome to the Ask a Matchmaker hotline. How can we help you?
Hi, I'm Mel. I'm 35. I'm soon to be 36, and I want to have kids with the right person when I find a partner. And I want some advice on how to filter people at the profile stage. Like, are men who are open to kids undecided and a bit of a waste of time, but then are people who want kids likely to choose someone like me when they could go a bit younger? How should I go about deciding at that stage?
I have a few follow-up questions. What is the age range that you are searching for online?
So maybe about 34 to 42.
Okay. All right.
Was that young in your mind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little. Like, she's turning 36. I'd be like, date up to 45.
Sure, because I'm 35.
Okay.
And my girlfriend actually had her eggs frozen last year.
Okay.
because we're both, we're working and whatnot, and,
Sure.
and not. I'm one of those. I don't know.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Oh yeah. You know better than me, but I do feel like if I was single, 35 and 35, and someone was like, I want kids, that would deter me. But you probably want to deter me if that's the plan right now. So I do think you got to be upfront. You want the guy.
Does your girlfriend want kids?
I think we're both in a not sure
Okay.
space.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like
Right.
Yeah.
Nebulous is the SAT word.
nebulous. Yes.
So then do you think our listener who's called in, do you think she should take what is being written on the online dating apps at face value? So like online dating, they can say like, they're not interested in kids. Maybe, definitely want to have kids. Some men don't even fill it out.
Sure. I think I wish it was like maybe, because I would say maybe, but you want like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Maybe could be a wide range.
Sure.
So I think you should take it at face value. And if you're like, I need fucking kids soon, you got to find that guy that says, I want kids. You want that.
See, she's dating in an age range too. Like I agree with you, and I agree is that the age range that she's dating in, let's say 35 to 42, I would hope a 40-year-old man knows or doesn't, knows that he either wants kids or doesn't want kids. Because then it is a colossal waste of time. Like, really? You still don't know if you want kids? You're 40.
Sure.
Like,
hey, Jeff
on.
Goldblum had him at 62, I think. Al
He's not a
Pacino,
real-
Robert De Niro, they're still having kids.
These are not real people.
I agree. I hear what you're saying. That's why I think that if you are set on having kids, you gotta find that guy that says that. Maybe some guys are lying though, just to get some,
What? Fertile women?
No, just like the guys are like, yeah, I want kids because they know women will be like, oh great, let's lock this in, and then they.
I have a feeling, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I have a feeling that a lot of straight men don't want to come off as desperate online. We still have that stigma, and so they won't even answer the question, right? They'll say like, they'll think, I want kids, but I could just leave this blank. There's no requirement on answering those questions. And then it's like, oh, but he didn't listen. It's like, well, maybe in my mind, I'm like, look, if it says he doesn't want kids, believe it. And if it's like a maybe or I want to have kids, then you have to believe that too. And then if there's nothing listed, pretend it's a maybe. And just go on the date. Go on the first date. And you don't have to, first of all, just because it says he wants kids doesn't mean you're going to have his kids.
She can be, on her profile, say like, look, fellas, I'm not fucking around anymore.
Yes.
She can say that, right?
You should tell Tinder to make that
I'm not fucking around anymore.
The new drop down option. I'm not fucking around.
I do think it's just so important though that if that's what you want, like there's so many guys who don't want it or are wishy-washy. And I'm a wishy-washy guy. So I'm more like, in my mind, I'm like, how would you avoid me going on a date? And if a woman's profile said, I'm looking for kids fucking soon, I would go, okay, I'm not going to match. I'm not going to try this because she's made herself very clear. And that's what you want. That's what you got to ask for. I do agree with you that there's guys that are 45. Like you said 40, you should know if you want to have kids. In my mind, I'm like, 45. That's what I know for sure. I know you give me that look, but I'm representative of a lot of men. It's not good, but I'm representative of a lot of men.
This is why 95% of women have reported that they're freezing their eggs, not because they're marketed as like, oh, a career aspiration. It's because of this.
It's because of this.
They can't find men who are emotionally available.
I should get a cut of the freezing eggs market. Me and all the other guys, because we're boosting up sales. So yeah. Listen, I'm trying to help you avoid me.
I appreciate it. Listen, I think what you're saying is 100% correct, and I love it. I love it. I just want to point out, as someone who has had kids, you wanting kids doesn't mean you get them the next day. There is a period of dating. There's a period of trying to get pregnant. There's a period of waiting.
Sure.
You get pregnant. It's not coming out on Monday. It's going to be like 10 months.
Sure. I hear you.
The baby kind of sleeps the first 3 months. You barely see it. It's just kind of gnawing at someone's nipple.
Listen, I think babies. I love kids. I love babies. Being in New York, I feel like I'm not around as many just like babies and let me hold a baby for 5 minutes as I would in a different part of America.
Is this what you think we do in the suburbs?
When I go to weddings, I'm always like, if there's a baby and I know that person even slightly, okay, please, can I just hold the baby just to feel like, I'm part of the world and humanity. It's such a nice feeling. That being said, I'm a baby. I'm a baby on the baby. So,
Gianmarco, that was wonderful.
Put it in your profile. Put it in your profile.
Yeah.
Guys are, I think because of what you said, they don't want to come off desperate, blah, 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 presentation. But if you are upfront, that's good.
Yeah, I definitely, if you, for the person who called in, you're almost 36, kids are a priority for you. You should definitely select, I want to have kids. And you've already put on your profile. And I don't think you should be talking about that on a first date. I think you should wait until your second date to discuss, like, if it comes up, like, oh my God, I would love to have kids one day with the right person. If that's your goal, you could also
use subtle hints. Wear a shirt that says, like, world's best mom, someday, I hope. Like really, little hints there. On the date, there's a baby. Oh, look at that baby. See how he responds. If he goes, ugh, that's a no. But I hear you. I agree, like, first date, you make it clear before on your profile.
Yeah, make it clear on your
first
profile.
Date, that's a scary thing on a first date. Because you're like, hey, we need to make sure we gel.
No, you don't.
Before we gel. That's what I call it.
Let's go to our next. Thank you so much for the question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to our next question. You're doing great. Thanks for calling the Ask a Matchmaker hotline. How can we help you?
Hi, I'm Paige, and I'm calling about my sister. So we come from a family of 3 girls. I'm the oldest, and this is about my youngest sister. She's 26, almost 27, and she's engaged to a horrible man. And 2 years ago, it was right about her 1-year relationship. She came, and her and I were like best friends. Tried to help her get out of the relationship. She went to go break up with him. He manipulated her back in, and since then, she doesn't confide in me at all about the relationship because she knows I don't approve of it. She knows everyone else will just tiptoe around her. She's embarrassed of him, but he is definitely emotionally abusive. She's told my parents, my other sister, my brother-in-law, my husband. I've been married for 11 years. We've all talked to her, but no one wants, she's got like this fuse where no one wants to like upset her. So I know in my soul it's like not a good situation, but do I just let it happen? When is
their wedding date?
August, the end of August.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. How are we going to break them up?
But she hasn't sent out. Yeah.
We've got 8 months to do it.
How do I do this?
Wait, have they put a deposit down
and like
yet?
Yes, but here's the deal. Here's the thing. No. Listen to this. My parents went with them, and he asked the director, can we get our money back? And the director was like, oh, yeah, sure. And the other thing is like, so this is what now, so I've like kept my mouth shut for 2 years. Haven't said a thing. I say something, like I'll make comments to my parents when they're like, well, you don't even talk to her. I'm like, well, I know, but you're telling me things. My middle sister tells me everything. But he just told her the day after Christmas, she was like, hey, I just want to spend time with you. You're going out of town. He's like, I told you I have 3 priorities: my friends, video games, and hunting. You're not one of them. Like, he told her that. And so then she was upset, and she confined and told my mom and dad and sister, like everybody who was there, told them. And then they just had a big snowstorm. She went and got snowed in with my parents, not her fiance.
Okay. What's the question?
So, like, they don't spend time together. How do I break? Like, how do we break them up?
Okay.
How do you break them up?
How do I do it? Yeah. How do I? She like will stop listening. Like, she gets defensive. She hasn't talked to me about it. So if I come to her, she'll be like, "Well, you don't even know anything."
Such big sister
and not
energy.
listen to me.
Yeah. And I'm the oldest,
like,
so I get that. I get that feeling of like, I'm like, you fool.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. The bottom line is, the non-comedic answer is, you cannot you can't force people to do things.
Yeah.
You can only provide them options. I think, though, if this guy's such a big piece of shit, what you need to do is set him up with someone else. Figure out, maybe you make a video game profile, you meet him on his terms, make him fall in love with your avatar, and then you have him meet him somewhere else, different country. And and then you show your sister the whole thing. You're focusing on your sister. You're never going to change your sister. You can't tell your little sister, being an older sister, to do something. That's going to work the opposite. You got to go for him.
No, exactly.
How did you just make this up just now?
Because I'm the oldest. I know. I'm a master manipulator.
It's so true.
I mean, it's a really tough one. I think. The problem is, if you're not spending time with your sister, and I understand that it's she's doing it to you, but when you don't spend a lot of time with someone, you can't influence their life in a big sweeping motion. I certainly have relationships. I have 4 younger half siblings, and there's sometimes
Oh, when you said I'm an older sister. I'm the eldest.
Yeah.
Like 2 girls, like me and my sister.
I
got the big sister energy on. But you're the oldest of 5?
Oldest 5, but 3 on one side, 1 on the other.
Oh, you have the multiple divorces.
Yeah. And, there's a certain degree where it's like, sometimes with like a younger sibling, I might feel like, oh, you need to stop doing this. Yeah. But if I haven't talked to them in 3 months, I don't get that. Do
you have a sibling group chat?
Yeah, we do. But she doesn't talk about her relationship with me in it. So she does tell my middle sister everything. So what can I tell my middle sister to tell her?
To look up the definition of sunk cost fallacy?
It depends how hard you want to go. Like, if you really think this guy is bad, and based on the 2 stories you told us, he sounds pretty bad. I mean, go hard. Just say it in the group chat. Be like, are you married, or you have a boyfriend or something?
She's married 11 years.
Me, I've been married 11 years. I have 4 kids.
I think you plan it. You go in the group chat, you say, oh, my husband the other day, he told me his 3 priorities are eating my pussy, giving me massages, and buying me jewelry. Just really shake it. If you really want this to stop, you gotta shake hard, because she's in deep. The deposit is down.
She is.
So that's my suggestion. Video game avatar, lure him to a different country, steal his passport. Really talk to your sister. If you really care, you got to be aggressive. Get her upset. Get in a big fight. And something will work out. Or you just wait for them to get married and they'll get divorced. That sounds like a bad dude. And, hunting. An accident could happen eventually. So there's lots of possibilities.
Get her. My concern would, if there were children in the picture, because you know what? Let her have her starter marriage. It's not a big deal. But maybe
that's what my
maybe
concern.
talk to her about getting an IUD, though.
Yeah.
Because that's what I would do in your position. It's like, look, have you ever watched, I happened to watch it this weekend with my son, and I had to explain things to my son, but we saw the movie Bruce Almighty.
Classic.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great movie.
Great movie.
But it reminds you that, like, God can't control your will. You can't, you're not God either, so you can't control your sister's will, but you can maybe encourage her to not get in so deep that now other humans are involved, and now you have this piece of shit future brother-in-law involved in your life for the next 20 years. Like, either she gets married and they divorce in 6 months, statistically, but she has an IUD, so we're good, or she gets pregnant by accident, whatever, she gets pregnant, and then now she's going to keep it because that's her husband probably, and now you're going to deal with this guy in your life for the rest of your life, and I don't know if that kid's going to be in that little priority pyramid.
Yeah.
But
I mean, listen, I think part of it is go out to dinner with them. Let him know.
Can you go out to dinner with him?
So here's the deal. I live 3 hours away. And so whenever I'm in, they only come over and hang out if, like, my husband and I are on a date or, like, hanging out with friends. So they come over and hang out with just the kids, or they come over if, like, everybody is over.
Take him out alone. Get ready. Go have, like, a fucking showdown dinner.
So that's what I'm wondering. Should or could my middle sister go straight to him, since my youngest sister has told her everything, or no?
You can't change the will of people. Your sister is going to end up, we just talked about this yesterday with one of my girlfriends, but one of our friends married someone out of spite because his whole family hated her.
Right.
Like, you don't want that.
No.
You could do what Gianmarco's saying. I'm telling you, protect your sister from bringing in more humans into this picture and encourage her to go get an IUD. That's
agree
tough because they'll divorce. Like, look, all this right now that you're doing, it's just bubbles that are coming to the top, right? And eventually, it's going to be frothy, and you're going to divorce, right? Like that's what's going to happen here. This is not. If someone is telling you about their priorities and you're not on the top of that list, and you're planning on getting married, because like marriage is a team. You're becoming a team, and I'm not saying this. The court of law is saying this.
Sure.
Right? Like you're legally a team, so you have to be like the way I see like my husband. My husband's my teammate, and I have to do what's best always for the team. He is my top priority. I have him higher than my kids. We need to be cool so our kids can be cool.
Yeah. Okay, here's one last suggestion: is during the wedding, right when they get to the vows part, you set up like a really nice, like PlayStation 4 thing to the side.
PlayStation 5.
And PlayStation 5, thank you.
Or a PSP.
And he'll get distracted. He won't even get to the I do. He'll just play the video games.
How old is he that he's that like video games are priority above
26? They're both 26.
Okay,
Almost
so
So, yeah.
statistically they like there's like it's like over 70% chance of divorce. Okay. I wouldn't worry about this so much. I need you to not talk about it.
But if you see him one-on-one,
Just-
if you have the chutzpah to go up to him one-on-one and be like, hey, motherfucker, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be a part of this shit. You want to get married? You're messing with me. I'm the older sister. You do not fuck with my little sister. If you have the... And listen,
that's the thing. I would.
Do it.
Do it.
Fucking do it. Do it.
Because, and the other thing is, I didn't know all this was going on. We went and had Christmas with my family during New Year's, and no one told me any of this had like bubbled back up again. They don't tell me. My middle sister called me when we were on our way back home, and she said he even wore a picture of my middle sister. She just had a baby, pregnant, eating ice cream, and it said fat AF. And I was like, if you would have told me that when I was there, I would have punched him in the face and yelled at him.
Do it now. Now I'm
You
like,
say
okay,
I got 3 priorities: my middle sister, my little sister, and hunting too, motherfucker. That's what you say. That's what you say. This guy sounds horrible.
Hunting.
This guy sounds horrible.
He's
sucks.
terrible.
He sounds like the people you hear about on
He's
Reddit.
horrible.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, this is like someone does. Am I the asshole? My husband says he hates me, and you're like, yeah, you're not. This is bad. You need to get out.
Oh my goodness. Well, thanks for calling in.
God bless. Good luck.
Good luck.
You guys are the best. Thank you. Thank you.
That was a great one. You're doing so good. Ready for our last question?
Yes, I am.
Can I, before we get to the next question, can I just say something? On my way here, I slammed my finger in the door. I started crying. Crying in front of my kid, my 6-year-old.
Oof.
And he was like, Mama, it's okay. Be brave. And I'm just like, I can't. I'm going to faint. Like, I felt like no electrolytes were in my system. There's a lot of things happening. And I'm laughing at what you're saying, like, and not quietly laughing so I don't interrupt you.
Sure.
And my finger is throbbing so much that, okay, can you see my middle? You see my middle
I
finger?
do.
It's
I
like
see
black.
it. Uh-huh. Ooh.
You see the difference?
Oh my God.
And on my way here,
You really stubbed it.
yeah, on my way here, 2 of my employees separately were like, your nail's gonna fall off.
Oh, yeah.
So now I'm really nervous and upset, and I'm wondering if me laughing at your jokes is gonna like really make it pop off.
Sure.
So
Maybe it'll pop up in front of your kid, and they'll start crying. And be like, be brave. You told me to be brave. No, you be brave. That's so nice to have does it feel nice when you cry and you have a kid and the kid goes, oh, it's okay.
that if I was the first time, I think the last time my son saw me cry was 2 years ago when I thought my mom was gonna die, and I was like, he's like, what's wrong? I go, yeah, I was becoming an angel, and he's like, okay, let's go to bed. Like, he didn't understand what was happening. Now he's older, so he understands a little bit more.
Yeah.
And my mom's a fighter, man. She's still alive. She's
Hell
awesome. You gotta keep fighting. Anyway, let's go to our last question. All right. Welcome to the Ask a Matchmaker hotline. How can we help you?
Hi, Maria. My name is Lee. I'm 37. I've been dating this guy a couple months, and we're not in a committed relationship yet, which is fine because I don't know how I feel about him yet. The thing is, he's a great guy. He's very kind, very consistent. He's inquisitive. He's a big nerd and he's a goofball and we have fun. And he's got all these qualities that I want in a life partner. Like he wants kids. We're aligned on that. And it seems like he wants to raise them the same way as I do, but we don't make each other laugh really hard. And I'm trying not to have scarcity mindset. I'm afraid to break things off with someone who I think has all these qualities that I want, but I can't decide if this is a deal breaker or not. I feel like we should have clicked in that way already by now. Historically, I have a bad picker, so I'm like trying to be more conscious and intentional about finding a good life partner. But I don't know. I'm afraid to like let him go. Hoping to find all these qualities and someone like with whom we're like laughing, like big laughter, you
What
know?
kind of
I don't know.
laughter?
It's hard
Hold
to
up.
explain, but more than a decade ago, I dated a guy who's definitely the one who got away, but like we used to make each other laugh all the time. We would just like, he would make me laugh and I would make him laugh. And it felt really good and natural and fun. And I see this in some couples, and with he and I, like we have fun, but it's not, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but we don't quite connect as much and as naturally as I want us to in that way. Like that's important to me. I don't know. So anyway.
I love that I have a comedian on
Yeah, right?
to talk about this.
I know this is why I chose Gianmarco.
There you go.
I mean, the fact that you're bringing it up makes it seem like it's so important to you. And for my relationship, I would certainly like our ability to make each other laugh and entertain each other is such a huge part of our relationship.
Yeah.
My girlfriend is a formidable comedic mind, and it's so important that it's tough if it doesn't happen at this stage. I hear what you're saying about not just cutting it off because one thing's missing, but whenever you hear people go like, well, they are good, they do this and they do this, that usually means like, well, it's just the sauce isn't there. There's just something not there, and some people can get funnier, some people can get more comfortable, but man, I think you gotta find someone who really can make you laugh. Life is too hard.
Shared sense of humor is like a sign of intellectual compatibility, just period on its
Yeah.
own. And I feel like, yeah, on one hand you've got Gianmarco who's like, oh, if we're not laughing, we're not going to be happy. But he's also a maybe on kids, so
Yeah.
you know we got timelines here, right? So you know, I think there is like what I'm hearing is that there's something missing. And I'm wondering if we can supplement it. And that means doing funny things together, like making it a point to go to a comedy club once a week.
Sure. Or tell him, go take an improv class. Go learn some yes and skills. Do a little more act outs.
God.
I mean, but or who knows? I mean, for me, my girlfriend and I, we're big stoners together. So we like to get stoned, and that's where we laugh the hardest. So, you know, whether comedy club, get I don't know if you drink or smoke, do something fun and see if it's there. But man, laughter, it's rare that someone's gonna get that much funnier.
They're not going to get funnier, but I don't know if she could supplement it a little bit. So like
Sure.
give them wait, how long have you been dating?
2 months since the beginning of November.
How many dates though?
There were, because of the holidays, there were a good 4 weeks where we were not in the same state. So like we texted and we had a few video calls. Maria, I know you say we should do it a lot more frequently and we didn't. So I think there's still, but yeah, so maybe like a month and a half all together. I don't know.
Have you done anything fun together?
We've been like, our first date was at a barcade and that was fun.
Okay. Did he choose that?
I know. He did choose that. Yeah.
Well, he's not that boring.
He's a big nerd, you know. He also likes video games, but he's not like an a-hole like that other guy. But he's I don't know. We're gonna spend the weekend together, so maybe, you know, I think we're gonna try. I don't know.
That's the one to test. I think
we'll
again, it hasn't been that much time. Sometimes people, it takes. I can be a little nervous or shy, and like I've literally for my job, I've gotten better at being funny, quicker. but some people need time.
Yeah.
And I think see over the weekend whether he's got that in him. People play video games. Sometimes they're not used to human interaction. They can be really funny on the Reddit chat. But then I think after this weekend or whatever, that's when you will know. And you got to go like, oh, is this not funny enough? Because I just think you can't have a long-term relationship with someone who can't make you laugh, because you're going to go through so many unfunny things together that you're going to have to provide the humor for each other.
That is such a good point. I love that. I love that you said that. I want to just add, do you know what your comfort show is and what his comfort show is?
Is his comfort show? I don't know. I know that he likes.
She's gonna say something
he's
with
been
Chuck
returning
Lorre,
to Harry Potter a lot.
Listen, what?
He's been watching Harry Potter a lot recently. The movies. I don't know. I don't know what his comfort show is.
Everyone's been going back to that. I've been noticing it. Is it on Netflix or something? What's happening? Why is everyone's like the Suits of the 2024?
Yeah, that's.
What's your comfort show?
I don't know. My comfort show is like Broad City.
That's a good one.
See, listen, that's like you're a comedy person. Broad City is a comedy, and Harry Potter. Those are very different media intakes. If I start watching Harry Potter, my girl would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But Broad City.
What's your favorite episode?
Watch
of
Broad City with him and see how he reacts.
Yeah.
Whether he's like, "There's not enough magic in here. There's not enough evil wizards in Broad City," and then you got to get out.
Make him watch the She-Work episode when Ilana sets up like a WeWork at like Flatiron.
Oh yeah.
Like that's a good episode to like gauge like, is he a feminist? Is he funny? Does he get it?
Sure.
Because especially like that's a good episode. Do you watch Broad City?
I've seen stuff here and there. I never watched the whole thing.
Watch the whole thing.
But
it's
I know
good.
it's an excellent show.
So good.
I know it's an excellent show.
Oh my God. The first episode's like brilliant. Jeez, the pilot. Oh. All right.
So good.
Well, this was a great question, and thank you for calling in.
Good luck.
Thanks, Maria.
You got it.
Thanks, Gianmarco.
Gianmarco, thank you so much for coming to the Ask a Matchmaker podcast.
My pleasure.
You did really good.
I hope so. I hope it all works out for those. It's tough, man. It's all hard.
I'm like really proud of you.
Thank you.
I think this is amazing. I think you're doing great. And where can people find you?
Podcast everywhere. The Downside with Gianmarco Soresi. All the podcast things. YouTube. Then find my social media at Gianmarco Soresi. I post all my upcoming tour dates. I'm going all around the world. And if you look up my name on Netflix, you can watch my set on Verified Stand-Up.
I'm going to include all those links in the show notes for you to check out. I really appreciate you coming, and I appreciate you, listener, for listening, and you on YouTube for watching this. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, help me with the algorithm gods. And if you're listening to Apple Podcasts and you like me, you can give me a 5-star review. Thank you. Well, yeah, that's about it. You know how this goes. Be lovable, but more importantly, be likable. See you next week.